If you remember coming home from school in any day of the week in particular, depending on where you live, and after you got done with your homework, you would go onto your TV and try to find some cartoons that would keep you entertained until you are done for the night. Then you are one of these certified legends. Well, not really legends, but it has a sense in nostalgia into it. I was one of these people that have experience with it. One of my favorite children's channels that I remember growing with were PBS and Nickelodeon. Also Cartoon Network too. If you remember the classic days and where you grew up with the following channels I have discussed, then you are really lucky. One of my favorite shows on Nickelodeon that I would make countless VHS recordings to keep in track of is Rocko's Modern Life. I would binge watch him every day when I get home from school. Classic times, right? I also grew up watching game shows on Nickelodeon too, mainly Double Dare and Nickelodeon Guts. Yeah, I know, it would kind of be awkward for game shows to be on a kid's channel, but at the same time it was successful. Do you also remember the What a Cartoon Show? It is a show that consists of showing off classics way before or after Cartoon Network has been established. Also I remember Watch Ed, Ed and Eddie, another classic show from Cartoon Network. These shows were a part of their childhood and also changed the way how children's television is forever. Also, SpongeBob was one of those pioneer shows that changed everything. And I have to agree too. And about PBS, it is one of those giant television networks that a lot of people, especially my other friends, discussed to me about, along with its children's block, PBS Kids, or previously known as BTV Park, if anyone remembers that too. But, does anyone know PBS Kids Sprout? I bet nobody has. For me, I certainly remember back when I was 12 years old when it first launched. If anyone doesn't know what it is a preschool-oriented offshoot of PBS Kids established as a joint venture between PBS Comcast, Sesame Workshop, and Hit Entertainment. It replaced PBS's original 24-hour PBS Kids channel, which operated between 1999 and 2005. Well, that's all I can give out for the information. Yeah, a lot of people these days watches this channel, and I've only watched a bit of it, and it is true. Because I have discovered something that it would be my last. Yes, since then I never heard anything about Sprout again, so I can't really tell which shows are still airing or just stop airing. So yeah, it is pretty a bad one, if I could say, if not, the most messed up thing I have witnessed. So, here is my story on how one of the last times I have watched this channel, when I was 21 years old, just got a job at a local Target 1 week earlier. So, two other friends of mine told me about something that they find interesting, and at the same time weird too. They told me that they have discovered an episode of Chloe's Closet named Leaving the Past Behind. Well, personally at that age I have never watched a children's show since when I was 14, when I've stopped watching these kind of shows before I've gotten into more mature content. I think the last thing I remember watching when I was 14 was, I'm not sure. I think it was Rugrats. Maybe. Well, that's all I can remember before it was showing reruns of All Grown Up, and as told by Ginger. So I went into the conversation that my two friends are discussing, and I was also wondering what that episode was all about. Besides, it's been a long while since I've discovered Sprout, so it is obviously it has changed since the last time I've watched the channel. And plus it has almost been 10 years since the channel has been launched, if I can recall correctly. So, I've decided to continue my shift at Target anyway, since they told me the episode doesn't air until like 12 a.m. in the morning. So, I've got a lot of time to do what I need to do before I can watch the episode. I don't leave work until 8 p.m., and it was 7 p.m. for me, so I've continued to work for about an hour before leaving to go home for the day. I went to Jack in the Box to get myself some food after visiting my parents for about 50 minutes. What I remember getting is one of their munchy meals that they still have. So I got that and I went back to the house, still in college, doing an assignment that involves doing a research on, I don't know what it really was. I only got 20 paragraphs left before I can turn it in, so I did that until I was done, and it was 11:40 p.m. I got 20 minutes left until an episode of Chloe's Closet comes on. I switched the channel into Sprout, and Lord, a lot has changed since I last came here. The PBS kid's name was dropped from the Sprout logo, and they are currently airing an episode of K-Lao, knowing damn well I'm not interested into that. So I switched into Nicktoons, where they are airing an episode of SpongeBob, with the 3-parter episodes, Help Wanted, Reef Blower, and Key at the Treedome. So I decided to watch that for a while, before K-Lao was over. And with that, it was 11:57 p.m., 3 minutes before the episode starts. So I started preparing myself, changing the channel back to Sprout, and the usual commercial break and advertisements goes on, like every channel does. And with that out of the way, and after the item was finished, the episode started. Personally, I've never watched Chloe's Closet before, so I wondered what this show is all about. After the intro was finished, the title card's name was called, of course, Leaving the Past Behind. So this is what the episode was all about. Leaving the memories that you have behind to get ready for adulthood. I didn't really mind that much, so I began to watch the episode now. The episode started with Chloe's toy duck. I think it was Lovely Carrot. But yeah, the episode starts with Lovely Carrot, all sad and covering his face. Chloe has been wondering what is going on with him. After she asked what is going on, Lovely Carrot said, quote, "The past is coming back to me. I just can't resist what happened." Then Chloe encourages her toy duck to tell her everything what happened, and why he cannot get rid of his past. So, Lovely Carrot tells off his past, and it fades into a scene where they are at the farm, with the sky being all red, trying to pull some hay into the barn to feed the horses. While Chloe and her friends were pulling some hay, Lovely Carrot decided to mind his business by going to an area that is very dangerous, containing tigers and lions. It is the area that the owner said not to go back there during their time. Lovely Carrot didn't hesitate to go there anyway to check it out. The tiger seemed friendly at first, so Lovely Carrot didn't mind that much, thinking him and the tiger should be very good friends, and decided to let the tiger out of the cage, showing it off to Chloe and her friends. When Chloe got finished pulling the hay into the barn, she was wondering where Lovely Carrot went off. I thought to myself, looks like this little fella has gotten a new friend to show off. It was a cute and very wholesome moment. But when the tiger came to Chloe and her friends, along with the owner of the farm, it began to attack them, one by one, blood splashing out from their legs. Remember what I said being a wholesome moment? Oh boy, I was wrong. Then the owner said, "Who the hell did this? Who let the tiger out? Who went into that damn area that they were told not to?" Everybody kept on screaming except for Lovely Carrot, who is just flying there, motionless and speechless. He didn't know that was about to happen to his friends. The owner said, "Don't worry, I'll make sure your friends will be okay after what just recently happened to your friends. I'll call an ambulance and you will be in my hands for now, to make you have an experience that you will never forget." Chloe and her friends went to the hospital. Their bones are sticking out from the tiger bite, and Lovely Carrot had to stay at the farm until his friends are fully recovered, so he is glad to have shelter and company, while his friends are recovering at the hospital. After the scene fades out, it cuts to the emergency room, in where Chloe's legs are covered with blood, and her bones are sticking out, zooming in for 10 seconds before Chloe wakes up, all crying after what happened. It began to get louder each 30 seconds to the point in where her teeth started to come off. The scene ends right here before it cuts right back into the farm with the owner and lovely Carrot. They walk out of the farm after having a long day, leading to the owner's house. The owner, which is a female by the way, has several pets in the house, 3 cats and 2 dogs, and even a parrot. Lovely Carrot seems surprised in how many pets she has. But the owner said, "I am flattered for you to find my pets wonderful and interesting. But let me warn you, my other dog, which is a pit bull by the way, is very dangerous. I will keep you away from him so you won't get hurt, but for now, let's go to my room." So, it leads to the owner's room, with multiple guns stored in the closet, one of them being a pistol and one of them is a shotgun, and they are multiple explosives, some of them are pipe bombs. I never seen this type of stuff in a children's show, so yeah, I knew damn well this is gonna get taken off the air soon. Why the hell didn't Sprout notice this shit? The owner gave lovely Carrot a welcome into her room. Plus, didn't I also forget to mention her room is full with violence and nudity posters too? That made me absolutely disgusted and horrified. The owner said, "Are you hungry or anything, before we have fun?" Lovely Carrot replied, "Yeah, I sure do need some supper after a long while at the farm." Then the owner finds something to eat for him, giving him some cat food, with bullets and dog poop, and to drink, cat urine. That made me cough several times how fucked up this shit is. Feeding a duck that kind of shit? As owning 3 cats myself, I would never feed my cats any kind of that crap, except cat food itself. So, lovely Carrot says, "What incarnation is this?" The owner said, "It's something very special. Before we have our little fun, it will be fun. Trust me." Lovely Carrot went on with it and started eating. Minutes after he finished, he felt sick, but the owner tells lovely Carrot to walk it off. And now, it cuts to Chloe's parents, with their full bodies shown, at the bar, drinking too much beer until seeing a news report, showing Chloe and her friends, at the hospital, are all in a coma, and they don't give 2 shits about it, and went on with their day. Cutting back to the hospital scene, Chloe is in a coma, the doctors are about to amputate her legs, and it seems like her arm is badly broken, and the doctors are about to perform hard surgery on her. It shows the surgery scene for about 3 minutes, uncut and uncensored with her blood and parts showing out. That nearly made me almost spit out my Diet Coke from Jack in the Box, and it leads back to the farm owner and lovely Carrot. The owner is half naked, only her bra and her underwear showing out. Lovely Carrot is wondering what is going to happen. The owner says, "Are you ready?" Lovely Carrot wanted to know what she has in mind, so he slightly nods, before the owner, without a doubt, did the unthinkable. She took off her underwear and her bra, fully going nude, and this is the part where I lose my cool. I was this close to call Sprout about this fucking bullshit that is just disturbing for viewers. No wonder why I've seen so many damn complaints about it in the Sprout website I went on for a few seconds on my laptop while I was working on my homework. And thank God it only showed that part before it even got worse. It shows off one of Chloe's friends, still in a coma, while the doctors perform hard surgery onto her, for about 2 minutes before fading into black. It went into black, for about 20 seconds before slowly fading in what to be Chloe, sitting on the floor in her room, with her eyes covered with tears, and a bit of blood was on her shirt. Zooming in, hearing gunshots outside from the distance, with people screaming the living hell out of themselves. One of the people in the distance shouted, "Oh my God, help me, please, help me." Also, I also heard it what seems to be like Chloe's parents getting murdered, them screaming and yelling, and the hitman said, "Shut the flying fuck up you stupid fucksticks." The screaming continued to go on, for about 30 seconds more, before Chloe smiled creepily, scaring the living fuck out of me. Her other friend, that goes by the name of Daniela, said, "What the living hell is going on in here?" Why is your parents lying down in the middle of the bloody floor? Chloe said, "Oh, you don't need to know," said in a cheeky voice. Danielle replied, "Chloe, you have got to be bloody insane. You don't fucking realize that your parents is in serious danger. Tell me this now, did you have the bloody right to invite a hitman into your fucking house?" Chloe didn't reply for 5 seconds before saying, "Don't be silly, you little wonder. I have sympathy for my parents, yet you don't." A person named Jack, that was never seen in the show, says, "What's going on?" And then Chloe falls in love with Jack instantly the minute she saw him. She says in a seductive voice, "Hey there, you cute little fella." Jack blushed by the compliment by Chloe, and said, "Hey. I don't think we have met before. What is your name?" Chloe introduces her to Jack, and they have decided to leave her house and walk out to a secluded area at the park, leaving her friend, Danielle, and her parents behind. 911 was called and the police arrived at the scene, where the bodies of her parents lying on the floor, blood still coming out, and an investigation has been launched. The scene was before the tiger incident. Then Chloe and Jack are alone. Chloe is about to give Jack a big surprise. "I knew damn well what it is, so I just covered my eyes before this shit gets any worse." The flashback ends and it fades back to the farm owner and Lovely Carrot, with the owner saying, "That was so much fun." Lovely Carrot is all covered in blood and other things I am not going to detailing about. Lovely Carrot can't do anything with the exception of moving his eyes. The owner said, "Oh, and don't worry, we are about to do some teamwork, if you are up for it, that is." She grabs her pipe bombs and guns, leading to the hospital, and they are about to commit something that is very common in this fucking country. A massacre. I have seen this in several movies and documentaries about it, and it gave me the chills. I am so worried about Chloe and her friends, debating that they are gonna survive or not. The owner gives Lovely Carrot her pistol, and says to him, "Are you ready, little duck?" Lovely Carrot replied, "I don't think I can't do this anymore." He starts to get teary-eyed a little bit, and the owner slaps Lovely Carrot in the face, and then says, "Look, are you gonna pay me back after you fucking let the tiger out of the damn cage, or you are gonna say goodbye to your fucking life? Because right now, all you ever give a damn about is curiosity and careness for your pathetic little friends. Either commit this massacre with me or prepare for your fate to be ruined." Lovely Carrot doesn't say anything for about 5 seconds, and then the owner quote-unquote forgets about it and starts the massacre anyway, killing almost every staff member of the hospital, except for all of a sudden, Chloe and her friends. Lovely Carrot took a look inside of the hospital, but is in shock how many dead bodies there is. My stomach started acting weird due to how the scene was played out. It was very fucking disgusting and sick to even look at. Lovely Carrot is relieved that Chloe and her friends wasn't killed, and they managed to recover successfully. Chloe woke up and she was like, "Huh? What just happened?" She can move her body again, and reached to her friends, going down to the lobby, and they were horrified of how many dead bodies that they are lying on the floor, and she saw Lovely Carrot in the distance. She is surprised and very happy to see him. Lovely Carrot is finally glad that Chloe is safe and made a full recovery, along with her other friends. The farm owner is on the phone, calling someone maybe. She says, "All right, I will give you 30 grand. Oh, are you gonna find them? All right, see you soon." And then the farm owner leaves. Chloe was confused, but she brushes it off and tries to find her crush, Jack. In which Lovely Carrot has never seen Jack before, but was very excited to see what he's like. They arrive at Jack's house, his parents giving Chloe and her gang a warm welcome, and they went to Jack's room. Lovely Carrot says, "So this is what your friend Jack looks like?" And then Chloe, blushing happily, saying, "Why yes." And then she giggles, and introduces Lovely Carrot to Jack. They all have a good time and did all of the fun things they can do together. But all of a sudden, They hear a knock at the door. Chloe was busy trying to be all flirty to Jack, and they heard the door knock. She thought they ordered pizza, but in fact, they watched the door open, and it was a hitman, trying to look for Chloe and her friends. They don't say anything to the hitman. 10 seconds later, they get murdered in the spot. Chloe and her gang went into the attic to hide away from the hitman. He knew damn well where they are, and he has gotten a knife and a shotgun, went up the attic stairs, and he said, "Peekaboo, I see you." He started throwing a knife at Lovely Carrot, and everybody screamed in horror. Chloe said, "What the bloody fuck is wrong with you? You murdered my Lovely Carrot." They tried to run away from the hitman, but they were too late. They got shot by his shotgun, Chloe's head shot away, blood coming out everywhere, and the hitman decides to do you know what with a now dead Chloe. I banged in the table several times how fucked up this is. And then it zooms out, with the farm owner saying, "Well, it's been fun. And this is what happens if you disobey one of my rules, and this will happen to you. Well, I gotta go now. Toodaloo." And then the hitman, who slowly walks into the camera, saying, "Good night everybody." And then it cuts to black. For about 30 seconds, it was still black. 30 seconds later, it shows off the infamous game over screen from an stupid game called Hong Kong 97, and it shows up for about 3 seconds before cutting to a video where a man has a jar shutting up into his ass, breaking it, and blood spills everywhere. I knew what it was, and it was that stupid infamous one man one jar video, and it shows off the infamous 2 girls 1 cup video, knowing damn well what is going on. And it also shows off the remains of Lovely Carrot, following with a female screaming in agony, sounded like she is being murdered, along with a little girl being spanked by some damn idiot, and 20 seconds of the infamous Max Headroom hijacking incident from 1987 began to play, until the airing was finally done. The credits played with an unsettling music that is sounded like a sad tone, and also, it gives out a number to call, being at 630-296-7536. I didn't want to call anyway, so I just ignored it. The episode was finally over, cutting to the usual commercial break. It was fucking gross. Gross for a children's show. Why did the damn director think it's fucking okay to allow this shit to be aired in public television? I feel like this episode I've watched is gonna be stuck in my head for a long ass while. After the tax doctor commercial finished airing and went to some promos, it abruptly stopped and went into a person that is currently unknown. Seems like it's shadowed, in a room, where 4 people, 2 adults and 2 children, are tied up and dead, and it seems like Sprout is being hijacked. He said, "Did you enjoy the episode, kids?" I sure did. Oh, and you, Timmy, which he obviously guessed my name, by the way. I know where you live. I've seen that you have disliked the recent episode of Chloe's Closet that you have seen, and it is very disappointing. He begins to find for something. It looks like a button that triggers something. And the shadow person says, "Your life is about to get a lot better. Or worse. Try to get rich as soon as possible. But before you know it, your future girlfriend will remember every inch of the stuff you have seen. Good night, you little fucking midget." He pushes the button, and the TV powered off. It did that by itself, but the power is still on. Did this hijacker gain access to my TV? It was an old Sony TV, by the way. 2 seconds later, I heard a loud boom. It came from the convenience store for a couple of blocks away from my house. And then, my power all of a sudden came out. I don't know how this shit happened anyway, but I tried to turn in my Windows Vista computer, and tried to go onto Skype, but then my internet went out, so my last resort is to go onto my Samsung phone and text my friends about this whole mess. Then I hear a car pulling up the driveway. Then the person comes out, with a gun, a pipe bomb, and a knife. I knew the same fate that Chloe and her friends received is about to come true. So, I've tried to pack my stuff as fast as I can before jumping out of the window, and heard me fall out from the window, and started shooting at me. I kept running, and even though I got shot in the hand, I kept on running for miles, until he doesn't see me, which thankfully succeeded. I went to my parents' house and told them everything what the fuck just happened. I've stayed at my parents' house until in the morning, so I've turned in Adult Swim and watched a marathon of Family Guy for the rest of the night. The next day, I've walked to my house, and I saw my house completely in shambles. It was due to the fact that the hitman walked back to my house just to put multiple bombs and made it explode, and no wonder why I heard a loud bang while I was asleep. So, I had no choice to move into a different house, using some of my money that I won from the lottery a few months back, to buy a house that is in Iowa. So, I moved there and bought some new stuff, and even a new TV. I was very scared to go back to Sprout again after last night's incident. I even recorded 20 minutes of the episode in my DVR and took some screenshots of it, and decided to tell my friends all about it. I was very disgusted of what I have seen, and I am gonna be glad if this channel gets shut down in the future. So I go on to channel 303 and see Sprout on there, check for future airings of the episode, and the next airing is at 12 AM yet again. I was enraged, and I fucking had it with Sprout added this disgusting episode in their airing schedule. I had to call the cops and Comcast, the ones who runs the operations on Sprout, about this whole mess, and they agreed to take the episode off of the air and not add it into their future airings. 2 weeks later, the episode was finally gone from the airing list, and a news report in my local news network investigated the episode that aired in Sprout. The hijacker had a history of murdering someone at the Toys R Us parking lot back in 2011. I have agreed myself to never, in my life, witness this fucking disgrace of an episode again. I know it has been 3 years since I've witnessed this, since the current year that I'm writing this is in 2017, and since the episode aired during around 2014, and I heard Sprout has been rebranded to Universal Kids. It seems like it is owned by NBC Universal, and most of the shows from Sprout have been long gone, including Chloe's Closet. I've decided to revisit the show by finding episodes on YouTube, and it's pretty decent despite being made in 2010. I'd wanted to look for the lost episode, but no sight. Later, I'd received a friend request that goes by the name of the researcher 01. I've accepted his friend request, and we would start talking just like in any starter conversation, like hi, how are you, all of that. And then he asked me about Chloe's Closet. I've said I remember the show. What about it? And then he told me about its lost episode, leaving the past behind. I've started getting flashbacks of what happened during that fateful time. I told him my house was destroyed since that incident. He asked me, do you have any footage or what the story was all about? So, I told him some by detail so he won't be disgusted, and I only sended one picture of the episode, in where they are trying to pull the hay to feed the horses at the farm. Then we tried getting some research about the episode, finding some evidence in some online forums and asking someone about it, and browsed in the Wayback Machine, in the Sprout website, and finding some airings of the episode, and got some more information about it. He even sent me some more pictures, one of them being that lovely carrot is on the bed with the half-naked farm owner, and I told him to not to send me any more pictures, because it gives me PTSD. And we've continued to talk about this for 2 hours, including getting some information and backstory about the hijacker, until he had to go offline on Skype for the day. And I said to myself quietly, man, what a discovery that was.